Yo, what's going on, my people? I'm back. Got a post-match review to do on the Arsenal-Chelsea game. Thank you lot for the love with the first video. We're getting started. This is going to be a consistent thing, game after game after game. And I'm ready for the challenge. I'm flipping up for it. Let's get straight into it. Boy. You know what, yeah? I won't lie, I was very confident going into the game. I'm a bit angry, I'll be real. I wanted to get 3 points from this game. I didn't even want to draw, if I'm being honest. But in context of the game, I'm flipping happy. I'm over the moon that we at least scraped a point. It's an away game against a big club, a big six club in the league. And we got the job done. We got the points that we needed, and I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about the performance from the boys, if I'm being honest. It's kind of been the story of our season so far, where we've been a bit lackluster in terms of going like breaking lines when we're on the ball. It's just a bit, I don't know, a bit lackluster. That's the words I could use for the performance, especially in probably for the 70 minutes of the game. We was very, very poor, man for man. Going through the lineup, if I start with Raya, why do you think I said I wanted to start with Ramsdale? Because over the past few games, even against City, this game, Champions League game, it's just been a bit iffy, we could have been 3-0 down because of him. Luckily, we got away with it. To be fair, when Jackson came on and he got that one-on-one chance where he could have went round him, he stood his ground well and retrieved the ball. But overall, he was very, very shaky, in my opinion. Very, very shaky. Ben White for me had a decent game. He wasn't that bad. Our backline was overall was shaky. I think Zinchenko, credit to Arteta, bringing Zinchenko off at half time, because he was getting absolutely cooked by Sterling in that first half. He was getting cooked. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit tired, so if I'm stuttering and stuff like that, it's because I had a game today. But Zinchenko was getting cooked in that first half, so I'm very happy Arteta made the decision to bring him off and bring on Tomiyasu. I think Tomiyasu done okay when he came on. Didn't do extremely great, but done alright. He done what he needed to do. Declan Rice. He was absolutely, I think personally, for an Arsenal man of the match, it has to be him. Overall, I think Cole Palmer had a very good game. I think I'd give him the man of the match. But if I'm talking plainly on Arsenal and who was a standout performer for us, forget his goal. I think he tried to break things down. He was commanding on the ball and off the ball. His goal was ridiculous. The technique on that to bend it, and even where it went in the goal, if he bends that with any more power, that just goes wide. Ridiculous finish, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So I think again he's just pushing on with his form. In my opinion, still hasn't had a bad game in an Arsenal shirt. Jorginho for me, I didn't want him to start. Title of my last video, I didn't want to see Jorginho. I wanted to see Partey. Partey didn't even get on the pitch today. Don't know why. I don't know what Arteta's doing with that situation there. But for me, Partey had to play today. I think we have much more control in that midfield. In that midfield battle, Chelsea won it for me. Other than Declan Rice, basically playing for Jorginho and himself, no one else in that midfield stood up, and that makes me move on to Jorginho wasn't as bad as our captain. Odegaard was terrible today. That's one of the worst games I've seen Odegaard play. His passing wasn't on point. He was just a yard off the ball every time. He was slowing, like usually he's sharp with his turns and getting it out wide and getting it into like Jesus. But he was terrible today. Terrible in my opinion. Very bad. So in that midfield battle, we're lucky Declan Rice stood up, because he stood up to be counted today, and then the goal tops it off. For me, I give him. I was gonna do match ratings. Everyone was a 5 today that started that game. If everyone was a 3 today that started that game, apart from Declan, he was probably about 6, 7, because he wasn't out of this world, but he was very good in context of the game, needing someone to stand up and be counted. He stood up. So I'd give him like a 7. Everyone else for me was about a 3. Odegaard was a 2, because I got high standards for Odegaard. I think he's a tremendous footballer, but today he was ridiculously bad. Moving on to Saka, I think he was decent, wasn't too bad. Actually, that's poor from me, you know. I got high standards for Saka as well. I think Cucurella had a good day against Saka today. Other than Saka's assist, I don't know if the injury or the little niggle that he's obviously playing with and playing on is having a part in his performance, but he wasn't at it today. But he that's one thing about Saka. Some games he does this a lot where he actually isn't having the best of games, but he'll always get a goal, always get an assist. So I've got to give him credit for that, because the top players, that's what they do. They won't be in the game for 60 minutes, 70 minutes, and then bang, they pop up with 2 goals, they pop up with 2 assists or an assist or a goal. So got to give him credit for that ball. The cross was absolutely fantastic, and Trossard was on the end of it to put it away. Jesus was poor for me today, poor. I ain't got nothing else to say about Jesus. He was just poor. Martinelli also was a bit, he tried to get at his defender a little bit more than Saka and tried to inject energy, but it just wasn't good enough for me. It wasn't good enough from either of our star boy wingers. So Eddie Nketiah came on. I don't think he done too well, to be honest. I don't really see what he done. Kai Havertz though, when he came on, I think he really brought something to the game, brought a presence up there. And I said this in my previous video that I thought Mikel Arteta might start with him and in case Saka was injured, start with him up top and put Jesus on the right. But when he came on, he just added a little bit of physicality and he made things stick. Got in and around it. Couple nice touches, couple nice sets. And I think it was his set before the goal, like there was a pass before Saka put it in, and I think he was the one. I think Ben White played it into him and he played it out to Saka. I gotta watch it again. But yeah, Kai Havertz done really well when he came on. Trossard got a goal, couple nice touches. He's got an eye for goal, Trossard. So I'm really happy that he came on, got a goal, because I think in our last Champions League game he was really bad. He was really bad. He had a bad game, so that'll do well for his confidence. And yeah, that's me kind of going through all the players and what I think of them. Next video I'll definitely be doing match ratings, 150% for every player. That's me going through all the players, how I feel like they played. Don't think overall as a team it was good enough, but as I said, we scraped a 2-2 draw. We'll take the point at Stamford Bridge. We go home with something at least, and we move on to our next game. There's not really much else to talk about. Actually, I'm going to talk about the penalty decision, because I don't want to really talk on Chelsea. Do you know what? I will talk on Chelsea. They were very good. They kept their shape well. They took their chances well. Modric's goal was a bit of a fluky one, but you got to put it in the area or do the action to get the goal. So got to give him credit for that, but it was a fluky one. Cole Palmer's penalty, cool and collected. I see him and Sterling having a little argument over it, and that obviously puts pressure on the penalty taker. So it was a good penalty. I think I need to speak more on David Raya and Ramsdale. I feel like Ramsdale's got to come back into the team. Just as quick as Arteta was ready to drop Ramsdale after he's been tremendous for us for the past 2 years, I think he needs to have the same energy and put him straight back into the team. because you've seen that David Raya he's very shaky, very shaky. And when you're playing for the biggest clubs in the Premier League, unfortunately you can't go 2, 3, 4 weeks, especially as a goalkeeper, having loads of these shaky moments, because it's gonna, at one point, gonna come and bite us in the, you know what. So he needs to, I think Mikel Arteta needs to be as brutal as he was with bringing Raya into the team and take him out and put Ramsdale back in. I do think the penalty decision was harsh. I think it was very harsh. It's not the ref's fault, it's just in the rule book, but I think they do need to change it. I think when someone's going up for a header, it's very hard for you to not use your arms to kind of get a bit more height on your jump. So I think it was very harsh, but it is what it is. We've had them for us, we're gonna have them against us. It is what it is. Definitely Partey should have started, as I've said already. One thing I am worried about is how we couldn't break them down. I don't like that when teams go into a low block against us, that we can't seem to create chances. It's a bit worrying, but that's where I think that Partey needs to come into the team, because he's another one of our players that's a great passer. He breaks lines well, so it will help in terms of progressing that ball through the thirds. I really think we need to see Partey back. Having him, Rice and Odegaard, 3 good passers of the ball, 3 good technically sound players. Not saying Jorginho isn't technically sound and isn't a decent passer of the ball, but he's a little bit safe for me if I'm being completely real. Chelsea was the better team on the day today. If I'm being honest, it was the better team on the day. But I'm not saying we are gonna be champions, but to be champions and to win a league, you have to get points like this. Even if you don't get 3 points, leave there with something. Have to leave there with something. So I'm happy that we left there with a point. And I feel like it gives us another confidence boost, because it was 2-0 down, got back in the game, and it shows that we never die. We never die in games. We always keep fighting. That's one thing that before Mikel Arteta was at the club, or even in his first year, we was very susceptible to just crumbling in big games like this, crumbling when we go a goal down or 2 goals down. And I think over the last few years, we've shown that we never give up, we never just give the team 3 points. So I'm proud of the boys for that. That's one thing I'm definitely proud of the boys for. Yeah, that's my post-match review. Proud of the boys for getting the point. Any will share the points this time. Any was calling my phone when it's like 30 minutes to go, and that all screaming down my line. Didn't wanna hear it. You get me? So yeah, man. Even Man United fans. What Man United fans? My boy P90, my little bro, all calling my phone, like trying to take the mick and that. Like, allow it, bro. Focus on your team, you idiot. No, them ones. Yeah, so that's my post-match review for Arsenal versus Chelsea. As I said, I'm proud of the boys for getting the point. Sometimes you just gotta leave with what you can, you get me, and just quit, smash and grab of a point. Next game is, I'm sure, is Arsenal-Seville. Yeah, Arsenal-Seville. Champions League, back in the Champions League. Away from home, it's a big game, need to win it. Thank you guys for tuning in, thank you for locking in. That's my post-match review of Arsenal versus Chelsea. Thank God we left with a point, we left with something, keeps us second in the league. Hopefully Tottenham do lose that game so we can stay second in the league, or they draw at least. I'll be back with another pre-match review for our Seville versus Arsenal game. Champions League, back in the champs. Need to get a win, must get a win in that game, have to get a win, very important game. See you guys soon, bye.